Firstly, David, an amazing result against Manchester United, firing ourselves really to the centre of the footballing universe for about 24 hours. What did you make of what you saw from your side?
I thought we were good value for the win. I thought we gave a really good account of ourselves. I thought, like I said after the game, the players deserve a huge amount of credit. You know, we should have been out of sight before they got their first goal. But we weren't, and then in the end they should have scored to win it, right at the death. So topsy-turvy in the end, it'd have been unjust. You know, the gaffer said the same thing, which shows how well we played. We weren't brilliant. I've seen us play better, but I thought the intent, the bravery, the intensity, the bravery to go and press and go and say, right, okay, if you're good enough, you're going to have to go past us and what have you, and play through us. I thought that was brave from the setup from our lads and what we asked them to do, and then to back themselves doing it. But yeah, look, it was a great night. It's a great night for everyone involved. Crazy sort of 24, 48 hours really. And a fantastic achievement for the players, and I'm sure it'll live long in their memories.
And a notable addition back into the starting lineup that I think fans saw as a bit of a shock was Kieran Green, who's just a massive boost to have him back in contention, isn't it really?
Yeah, look, Green he is an action man, isn't he? I said before that he's got some sort of slider in the back of his head, and his eyes move if you touch the back of his head, like my action man did when I was growing up. So it's terrific. He could only play for so long. We didn't want to push him, you know. So there was a couple of them. I suppose, well, there were pre-planned substitutions. But he got through the game well. So yeah, it's a massive boost for us, knowing that Green is as fit as he can be. So yeah, hopefully that'll continue going forward.
And now our focus is turn away from Manchester United and back towards the league. Bristol Rovers are going to be a really tough test, aren't they?
Yeah, I got asked before the game on Wednesday night about how I've kept the lads grounded and, you know, feet on the ground, all that kind of stuff. And I said, well, we'd won 2 and drawn 1 since the draw to the game. I've always felt since the draw was made, the hardest game for the players will be this Saturday and next Tuesday, from a mentality point of view. And that's going to be one of the big challenges. Nothing to do with Bristol Rovers, our own heads, our own mindsets. Going into the game, get that right, then we'll be looking to continue our unbeaten run this season. If we don't, then we'll make it extremely hard for ourselves. Nothing to do with Bristol Rovers, because it'll just be what's between our ears. So I'll speak to the players about that tomorrow and make sure they come with the right mindset and go out onto the pitch with the right mindset. And then obviously it's up to them to sort of implement that in their own brains, if you like. But look, it's always a tough test against Bristol Rovers, regardless of home or away, which players they've got, who the manager is. It's always a tough game against Bristol Rovers. The fans demand that, and they'll bring 800, 1,000 fans. They're always well backed. It'll be a different atmosphere. We've got to make sure that we feed off that as well, because the fans were magnificent on Wednesday night, and we've got to make sure the fans are magnificent again by giving them something to cheer about, certainly early doors, so they get right behind us and help us maintain the unbeaten run. And then we've got to show the quality that we've shown so far this season and win the game.
And it's a lot of games, isn't it? The sheer number of games we've had this August has probably taken its toll on the lads, but it's the benefit that we've got such a sort of deep and talented squad that you can call into action.
Yeah, look, we work hard in pre-season to make sure we're as fit as we can be. This is game 8 of this month, and the lads are getting through it well, I would say. So yeah, like I say, we've got a squad that we feel as though is capable, hence why we can make changes. You know, I'm not sure anyone had Cam Gardner starting on their predicted lineup the other night, but I thought it was terrific, for example. And that's the kind of options we've got. So we'll hope he goes well again, and then we can make changes as and when.
And looking at Bristol Rovers again, they've had a bit of a mixed start since obviously their relegation last season, but more importantly, they've won their last two. I'm sure you're going to expect them to really be keen to, keep their good fortunes going.
Yeah, they're a good team. They're a good team. They're a League One team. They only just managed to come down. They had a bit of a sticky start, but they're a good team, and we've got to make sure that whatever team is selected, whatever they're trying to do, because they've got a few different ways of playing, they've got a couple of different formations that they've played. We've got the answers and we know what to do. So that'll be a challenge. It'll be a test. It's always a test. There's no easy way in League Two games. So we've got to have all the answers, and if we do, then we should have another good afternoon.
And lastly, there's so much excitement about the club at the moment, and as a result, we've sold over 7,000 tickets for the games. It's just so important that our fans can be.
Yeah, I alluded to earlier that the fans were magnificent the other night. It is like head and shoulders the best atmosphere that I've ever heard in Blundell Park. And I know the owners have said the same thing, and they've been going a lot longer than I have. And I think the fans probably have said the same as well. Now we've got to try and recreate that as much as we can for every game at Blundell Park. Every game. That's the challenge for the fans. I don't know if that's, like I said, tifos, drums, singing sections all being sat in the same place. I'm not sure what it is. A concerted effort from the Miners Trust to have one choir in each stand. I don't know, that all know the songs or whatever. I don't know. But what I do know is it helps. It massively helps. The fans have been magnificent. Certainly this season, home and away. And we've got to make sure that continues. So hopefully they'll back us again. Like I said, it's already a fairly decent number. And we've got to make sure that we give them something to cheer about. And if we do, then hopefully it's another good afternoon.
Fantastic. Thank you, David.
Thank you.